There I am. There I am. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad I'm in the building. Ladies and gentlemen, this evening, I'm going to do something just a little bit different for tonight. I'm going to tell you why. That will be going out for Grandmaster Jay. So, what I need to do this evening is to have everyone to get paper and pen. I need for you guys to get paper and pen because I was asked to make it part of the presentation for everyone to have a chance to write down some information. So I'm going to start off by singing, or not singing, I'm sorry. I'm going to start off by playing some music in dedication that was brought in earlier for Grandmaster Jay and his great members. So I'm going to play the music first. I'm going to get the music out the way. Then I need for everybody to come back and get your paper and pen because I got a lot of information that I got to share with you this evening. So the music is in dedication for Mr. J, and I'm going to try to pull it up if I possibly can. So sit back, listen to the music, and I will be back in a minute. Hey, you, say me, get over by something that you know and change the weather. But I can't fight it, walk the night, so stick around. You're gonna hear that music start to fall the sound. Say, come on, hear the singing, yeah. Ooh, so baby, Betty and the Jets. Oh, the way you know what oh man, she's a hurricane. She gotta make me cruise. I'm gonna have to, you know I'm ready and I'm back to say, oh, Betty and the Jets. Hey kids, welcome to the business, maybe everybody, but then it makes a minute. We shout survive, let us take ourselves along. Every mile there inside of the streets, we find the right and wrong. Oh, carrying on, we haven't seen that yet. Oh, so laid down, Benny and the Jets. Oh, it's weird and wonderful. Oh, man, she's a hurricane. She gotta let me move. I'm gonna have to, you know I'm ready and I'm gonna say, oh, Benny and the Jets. Benny and the Jets. She's ready. She's gotta let me go. I'm gonna have to, you know I'm ready and I'm back to say, oh, Benny and the Jets. Flashbacks of the time we met. Some made us laugh, some made us sad. We used to break up to make love. All the fun that came from those love days. Oh, when I think I need someone new, I just won't do. Because I think about you, baby, from beginning to end. 365 days at the end. I want you to say no more. All I wanna do is keep on loving you. Say no more. There's a reason I feel this way. All the things you do, well, it might be the things that you say. Your love never changes. It's like a picture frame, and it remains the same. Your undying love for me, oh, it keeps me strong, keeps me holding on from beginning to end. 365 days of the year, I want the same old one. All I wanna do, share my life with you. Just same old love. I want the same old love, and all I wanna do, share my life with you. The same old love, from beginning to end, 365 days of the year. I want the same old love, and all I wanna do, share my life with you. The same old love. I'm a girl into a dream of 65 again. I want the same old love. All I wanna do, share. I'm a girl into a dream of 65 again. I want the same old love.
I wanted too much time. I had to have him wanting more than that. Yeah, I would have known that. From things that I know now, I might not have lost the time I complain about. Don't waste your time fighting life. Find that goal of despair. Hold on to your love. To hold on to your love, baby. Hold on to your love. Oh, you got to hold on to your love. I'm playing games now. It's not the heart you break. It's not the love you make when it's heart's on fire. Yeah, and love every day. Remember, he needs space. Be patient and he'll give his heart to you. Don't waste your time fighting life. Hold on to your love. You got to hold on. Hold on to your love. Hold on to your love. Hold on to your love. Baby, hold on. Hold on to your love. Trust and honesty too must be the golden rule. You feel the strength of passion in your soul. Burn so deeply within. Oh, I'm glad you so sacrifice and show how much you care. Don't waste your time. Oh, just stay. Hold on to your love. You got to hold on to your love. Keep the high. Hold on to your love. And don't let go. Hold on to your love. Let go. Hold on to your love. Hold on to your love. Hold on to your love. Just keep hanging on. Little trust, honestly, open your soul. It's burning slowly. Happy, just keep the fire. Hold on, that phone. Hey, yeah. He'll come on. He'll be there for you. He'll want to get you. Hold on. Hold on, little thing. Don't be so tired.
All right, all right, all right, all right. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for coming in, coming in. I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. I got to get myself adjusted here because I'm sitting on some books and cloths and everything else. And then we got, I'm kind of disturbed just a little bit because I got the ambulance and the fire trucks surrounding the house for my next door neighbor. So I'm kind of hoping that my next door neighbor is okay. He's a pretty old man, Mr. Hawkins. He's a beautiful, beautiful man to know, but he's been having a lot of health problems. So I've been trying to, take care of things to make sure that nobody, bother him. He's up in his 90s. Anyway, thank you guys for coming in this evening. I see cutie little Susie. I see you're in the building. Thank you, girl. And then I got people coming in on the other aspect over here. what is she saying? She said, do you all have any earplugs for the noise? Okay, Lucy. I don't know what that's about. But anyway, tonight, this is in tribute to Grandmaster Jay. All right, we got a lot of things that I need to go over, need to share with you guys. So bear with me. I got my little teleprompt just to make sure that I'm on point here. You probably noticed that I got a picture up of the Tuskegee men. I did that because they are some badass. And I'm telling you, the NFAC is also some badass mother shut your mouth type brothers. So I had to pick out a picture that would probably represent them to the best effect of my ability. So first of all, we got to say, we're coming into a new year. I first want to say Happy New Year. Happy New Year to everybody. I mean, y'all know that this year is just about over. Can we get a whoop, whoop, get it, whoop, whoop, get it. Okay. Anyway, we're coming into a new year and I'm just looking forward to this nightmare. I don't know. You know what? I won't say it's a nightmare because 2020 was basically I guess you could say a wake up point for us. It's a lot of things that's been going on. So I just say, whatever. Now I want to go over the questions and the answers. I've had people who come in, they send me an email asking me, okay, Linda, I need you to talk about this. I need you to ask this. I need to go over the questions about this. Okay. First and foremost, the songs that I played this evening was dedication to the NFAC. The ladies came in early. They sent me an email and said, can you please play something to let Grandmaster Jay know that we love him, we support him, and we're going to do all we can as far as making this thing work for 21. So I took the liberty of making those songs available to play for him. So don't, Mr. J, if you're watching, the songs were for you, from all of the ladies who say they love you and miss you and all that yappy stuff. Now, getting back on point here, more questions. I was asked, what are the plans for Master J? First and foremost, boy, I need to get adjusted. Y'all got to bear with me. I got so much stuff. People say this and say that, and please present that. So let me get this stuff straight here. Okay, we're going to go over and talk about the federal government and the charges and that. I'm gonna start off with that. You know what? I was gonna do. I was gonna, do a little funny, do some little funny stuff in reference to Mr. J. But what I'll do, I'll save that towards the end. We'll have it on a happier note. Okay. First and foremost, let's talk about the charges. We all know that the charges are bogus. We know that. Okay, grant that. Now, here's what we're getting ready to do. First of all, I want to make it clear, you guys need to support Master Jay at his for his legal defense. Okay, you guys need to go to GoFundMe legal defense for Grandmaster Jay. You need to support that because let me tell you what I'm getting ready to do. I don't know what team Grandmaster Jay has in place on his side of the spectrum, but I got some real badasses on my side of the spectrum that want to step up and make this shit go away. Okay, we're talking about it. We're putting our thoughts together. We're gonna make it 21. I'll be damned if I let this type of mess keep rolling over onto my black people. Matter of fact, it's not even about Master J. It's because of black people are always having problem with white government. That's basically the problem. So we're gonna turn some shit out next year. So Master Jay needs to have your support in reference to his legal defense team, because I'm going to be bringing in my legal team, and my legal team is going to get to meet his legal team, and we're going to contemplate on how we're going to make this stuff work for the better. Now, I've had a question asked to me, how can we support Master Jay if we don't have any money? Okay. I'm going to go over that as I do my presentation tonight. So just bear with me. I'm not going to answer that question right now because I got other things that I need to bring out first and foremost. Now, let me go back to my little teleprompt here to make sure that I'm on point. Yeah. Now, the question also was asked, what about this federal tactic team? You know, the government made a what they call a tactic team early, right before Grandmaster Jay went to Louisiana. Everybody knows that. But the tactic team was not put in place because of Grandmaster Jay. Let me start off by saying that. If you remember off of my other presentation and my videos, I had said to you guys that white people have their own problems that they're going against white government. Okay. Now get your pens ready because I'm going to give you some information. I found out that the reason why the tactic team was created was because they had a white militia group that is going after white government for the reason of this. COVID-19 was not became a problem this year in 2020. This problem started way back when what did they say it was? 1984. Mm-hmm. The first marking of the COVID-19 situation was out there in 1984. Now, what happened with that? Government had hired plainsmen, somebody to put this COVID-19 in planes and spread it in the air to mess up our air, to mess with the sun, to mess with all of the stuff that's floating in the air. Now, come to find out, this COVID-19 winded up killing the white people's family. So now they're pissed off. So they decided to get together to formulate their white militia group, and they're planning on doing some damage to somebody in government, which is what I told you before off of my other video. I told you guys before that the problems that the white people are having with government has absolutely nothing to do with us. But what I think you guys need to do, for the ones who are listening and you're going to play this tape back again, you need to go out and find out, did government spray that COVID-19 in your area? Because they were targeting selective areas and they were going for the black area, but it just so happened that the white militia group's family was involved. So now they got this revenge thing. Now you're looking at, okay, you got the black people who don't really like government to begin with, and now you got the white groups that don't like government at all. Now, what they did was, and I want you to write this down. This is your starting point of information. The white group said that, okay, we're going to get ready to start attacking government in reference to them killing these white people's family that was part of that white militia. Now, what I found out over this course of this past week, there is a website, and it's called geoengineering.org. You can go there. They are showing you pictures as how the COVID-19 was sprayed in these planes over the poor areas. They got about, I think I saw about 13 or 15 different videos about how, if one of those planes is up there trying to, tamper with the area or what. But I can tell you this, that's some really sick shit. I'm just gonna be blunt about it. That's some really sick shit. What they fail to realize is, if you're sitting up there spraying communities with this COVID-19, the residue from you spraying it from your plane is going to back up and be on the plane. So that means that you're jeopardizing your own self in reference to kill others. Does it make any sense to anybody? Somebody need to, feel me on this. So, why would you go out there and have this chaos? This is chaotic. So when you go outside, people, from now on, from this point on, I need for y'all to start looking up in the sky. Now, we already know that they didn't spray the COVID-19 on some of the celebrity people like D.L. Hughley. D.L. Hughley was sprayed. That girl, Brianna's sister, she was sprayed. So this, you got to think, it's time for a change. And I had made up in my mind. I sat down with a couple of attorneys this past week. I said, they was like, well, Linda, what is your goal? What is it that you have in mind? I said, first of all, we got to file the paperwork for Black people to be free. That's number one. I hadn't done that, but I thought about it. I said, well, should I wait until they can make up their mind whether they're going to have Trump in office, or is they going to get rid of him, or is Biden going to step up to do whatever it is he needs to do? I don't know. So I told my team of attorneys, I says, well, I don't give a damn who they put in office, to tell you the truth, because I'm not going to, I haven't voted either way. It doesn't make me any difference one way or the other. I've been out of the system for 30 years. So my thing is, now I got to come back and save my own people from this shit. I told them, I said, look, this is what I'm going to do. It just so happened that Grandmaster Jay, or yeah, that's his name, Grandmaster Jay, happens to be in trouble. And what I want to do is put a plan together. We're gonna have to put this thing in motion as far as getting this man out of this bullshit. So they were like, okay, well, we're gonna have to come back. We're gonna have to strategize. We're gonna have to put this together. We're gonna have to make some plans. After they looked over the charges, they said, oh, okay, this is what we're working with. Now, after I looked at the thing, I said, all right, Jay is giving me permission. I believe he's giving me permission to do this. Because I told him, I says, well, this is what I can't, I don't know what your team of attorneys is going to do, but I can tell you what my team of attorneys is going to do. And what they can see, my team is like some Johnny Cochran shit. I mean, these are some tenacious people that don't play with it. They're not going to play with it. They're going to smash all of it in the same wop. You're not going to need to have a separate person to do one charge versus another. Now, I'm going to take all of my experience. I'm getting ready to give him all of my experience. And I told him this. I said, look, Jay, this is what you're going to need to do. Okay. Now, from my understanding, okay, after looking at the situation, they took his guns, okay, and they put a device on his foot, okay, and they claimed that there were two charges separated from the state and the federal. Okay, I just wanted to make sure in my head. So I'm going to use an example. And like I said, the person who asked me for that they asked me for the address for where they can find. You guys need to find out if your area had been sprayed with the COVID-19 by these pilots, for them spraying and killing their families. Their families is from, I don't know if it's Kentucky. I don't know if it's another part of the United States. They got about 13 to somewhere between 13 to 15 videos that's showing where the COVID-19 had been sprayed across the United States. And somebody took the initiative to record these people. So my thing is, that just show you how sick these bastards are. So now the white people have a problem with white government. Yep. The white people have a problem with government now. And they can stop saying that Black people and white people are at odds with each other right now, because that's far from the case. That's not even the case anymore. What's going on now, Government has really fucked up to the point where they not only got the black people looking at them sideways, they got their own kind looking at them sideways. Because now, okay, you started killing people back in 1984. And I hate to say this to my black people, but we're always the last people to know. Why are we always the last people to know what's going on within our communities? So so from this point on, for all people, I don't care whether you're black, white, Hispanic, whatever, it's time for us to start paying attention. We need to start watching very closely. We got to start looking up at the sky, what these people are dumping on us. We got to start, and we got to start communicating with each other. Whatever your indifferences are, I don't really care. I really don't. I don't care what your beef is with black people. Black people, I don't care what your beef is with white people, because now we all are in this thing together, and now we got to fight an entire governmental system. And I done figured out how we're going to do that starting next year. I'm ready. I am so fucking ready. Bitch, you don't understand. You don't even have a clue what's finna go down for 21. Okay? Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna use my experience. I'm gonna use one of the cases that I worked many years ago. A man was charged with a crime. I can't say what the crime is because then he'll know that I'm talking about him. Okay. Oh yeah. They went to the court. They said, okay, we're gonna get ready to do your arraignment. Now, keep in mind, this is how I'm gonna tell you how you can avoid that shit. There is a thing called a David of indictment block. Okay, it's called, you may want to write this down unless you feel like watching this tape all over again. It's called AIB. What that stands for is affidavit indictment block. Now you say, Linda, what exactly is that? I'll be glad to share that with you. What an AIB is, it is stopping them from having a trial against the person who they're accusing of the crime. Mm-hmm. See, in the case of Master Jay, he has the option of saying, no, I'm not going to go to your trial. You're not going to indict me, and we're gonna end this shit on another level. See, this is what people don't know. See, the white people already know this stuff because they do this stuff all the time. That's the reason why they never in court. You always see this color in court. Now it's a time for a change for that. You have to file, and what Grandmaster Jay should have filed, he should have documented first. The first step is when they told him that he was charged with something, he should have said, okay, give it to me in writing. Now I'm gonna tell you why that's important. When you got an organization that's charging you and you know that you didn't do the crime, you got to what's the word I want to use? Challenge their authority. That's the nice way of putting it. Now, I'm gonna tell you how you do that. First of all, you get the paper and then say, when they call you up for what they call an arraignment, you don't go. I'm going to tell you how you don't go. What you do is they have a appointed person in the courtroom called a court transcriber. This is not only a person who speaks another language, but they also speaks on your behalf when you're not planning on attending. You don't ever want to go to their court if you really don't have to. And I'm going to show you how. Okay? You have to file the necessary paperwork to say, look, in reference to this, well, you can't say bullshit on the papers, but this is just me talking. In reference to the crime, and let's say crime XYZ, okay? Crime XYZ. You've been charged with crime XYZ. How do you plead? This is where you stop them. You tell them, I plead nothing. Now, this is going to fuck them up. See, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I'm not allowed to go in anybody's court ever again because I have been banned across the United States. They don't want my black ass in a court because when I come to anybody's court, I'm shutting the shit down and everybody's gonna be fired and somebody's gonna be paying out a lot of money. So anyway, when they ask you, and you notice this is a bullshit charge, okay? When they ask you that, well, we got to have an arraignment. Oh, okay. When you get to the arraignment, you say, I cannot give you a plea at this time. And for two reasons, I can't give you a plea. First of all, I need to have a case evaluator. Now, people are saying, what the fuck is a case evaluator? See, I got to educate you, my black people, or all people. Let me stop saying just black people because I know that there are some white people that is listening to me this evening as well. For people who are uneducated about the court system, I'm going to break it down as I possibly know how, and I'm taking this from my own personal experience of it and saving people from it. Now, when the courts ask you, how do you plead? You have to say nothing. I ain't saying don't say nothing. Don't confuse what I'm saying. You have to write down you plead nothing. Now, this is going to make them baffled because they're going to be like, what did you just say? Sir, do you understand? Or ma'am, do you understand the charges? Oh, I really don't understand. And I'm going to tell you why. I heard from what somebody told me that I was brought here in reference to a charge that was placed in front of me. Now, they know for their own court of law, you can't go in a court of law with hearsay. Okay? Now, if they are a smart judge, and you got some asshole judges too, if they're a smart judge, they'll go ahead and dismiss that bullshit right then and there. But you got some asshole judges. You got some asshole judges that will say, no, we're going to challenge this mother. Okay. Now, after you done said at the arraignment, okay, actually, it's not really an arraignment. It's more like an arrangement. And I'm going to tell you what's going to happen from this point. Now, you in court, they're going to say, okay, how is it that you mean that you plead nothing? Well, sir or ma'am, whoever you're talking to, the reason why I plead nothing is because I need to have a case evaluator to look over this case. Now what a case evaluator is a person who takes the paperwork that the court issues to you and go over it thoroughly to make sure that there's not a bait and switch. I bet you guys didn't know that the courts are notorious for doing a bait and switch. What is a bait and switch? But before I get to a bait and switch, a case evaluator is a person who reads over all of your documents before you go to an arraignment. You have to have a case evaluator, somebody who have a very strong eye for details. This is what these people do all day, every day. Now, if you don't trust the court what they call translator, then you hire your own person to be your case evaluator. You have to have that case evaluated before you make any vocal, before you say anything to the people in that courtroom. Okay? This is so important, people. That way you don't get caught in the bullshit. Okay? You can eliminate the bullshit at the gates if you do these things that I'm telling you to do. Okay? Now, after what they're going to do, what the courts is going to do, they're going to say, okay, you are pleading nothing until you get to see the document, what they call, what I'm trying to think of, because they got several names for it. Oh, going back to the one that I know of, I'll put it this way. The one that I know of is called an AIB, which is what I mentioned to you at the beginning of this presentation. And it's an affidavit indictment blockage. Now, and Grandmaster needs to do is refuse to have a trial, but he has to say it. You can't walk in there and say, I refuse, because that type of shit can get lost in the paperwork. You don't want that. What you want is your own affidavit stating that you are refusing to have a trial. You have that right to refuse any court and to not go into any court. And you can tell them why. Okay? Now, they got to honor that. When you tell them, I ain't going. Now what? Now they're gonna get agitated, and then you know what they're gonna say to you? You know what they're gonna say? They're gonna say, "It's the law." Okay, and then they're gonna try to intimidate you. Then they're gonna say, "Well, do you realize what you're being faced with?" Yeah, I do. I surely do, and that's not gonna change. That's not gonna change because you want to jump up in my face and try to harass me. Okay, I told you I refuse. Now you got the stump. Then they're gonna say, okay, we're gonna give. Matter of fact, Mr. So and So, we're gonna give you a couple of days to think about it, because maybe you need to get with your attorney. You see what I'm saying? Now they want you to get representation in reference to calling them on their bullshit. Okay, now, but you hold fast though. You gotta hold fast. It ain't time for the attorney to come just yet. Okay. Now, you dealing with them directly right now, because what they're trying to do is set you up for something else. Now, here comes the bait and switch. I'm going to tell you what the bait and switch is. That's the really important for you to know what the hell you're looking at when you're looking at these documents and these pages, because the courts are notorious for giving you one set of papers and then charging and filing another set for something completely different. Didn't know that, did you? Yeah. So you got to have an open eye. Now, this gentleman that I had worked for many moons ago, they charged him with one thing and gave him paperwork for another. And then by the time the case got on its way, he winded up being charged with 6 counts of something. So you got to be careful. You got to have somebody who's experienced with looking at that paperwork. And you got to also refuse to even have a trial when you know that it's a bullshit situation. Now, after that, you come back, they're going to say, okay, Mr. So-and-so, we're going to give you a couple of days. We're going to give you a couple of days so you can marinate and think about what your plans are and this, that, and the other. Now, within that couple of days, you got to go back down there and file to say that you refuse to have a trial whatsoever. And then tell them you are pleading nothing, because you're not arguing with them. You don't argue with them. Just say that I'm pleading nothing. And guess what? What they don't want you to know is an affidavit cannot be challenged by no judge of no court. And you know why? Because that would be jeopardizing them. That would be jeopardizing their oath to what they took. And another thing that Black people and all people need to know, and what we found out over the years, and I keep stressing this, I cannot keep stressing this enough. The United States Constitution does not apply to you. It does not apply to you unless you are a federal or governmental worker that works within their system. Yeah. So people, I get sick and tired of people saying, well, I need to get my bitch. That First Amendment don't fucking apply to you. So stop that shit. Now, how is it that all these people that came before you was able to get all of this shit dismissed, without talking about, oh, well, the Constitution, backing up on the Constitution. The Constitution is some bullshit paperwork that was made up by white government to trick your ass. Now, what I tell people all the time, take that paperwork. This is where you take that paperwork and use it against them. This is your opportunity, because let me tell you what's going to happen. Let's say, for instance, you don't file your paperwork and you want to challenge this at a later date. This is what happened with one of the clients that I had. It fucked him up. He said, well, no, Linda, I'm too scared. They're not gonna talk bad to me. I started looking at this brother as a house nigga. Okay, you're a house nigga. And if you don't want me to do what I came here to do, then I'm finna go. Okay? And another thing you need before you deal with the courts is called a power of attorney. This is not talking about an attorney to try the case. I'm talking about a power of attorney. A power of attorney is a person who go in and talk to the judge any kind of way, and it's not being held against you. You see what I'm saying? What I mean is, let me break it down even further for you. Let's say that John Doe is going to court and he doesn't really know how to talk to the judge. He don't know how to speak their language, right? So it's almost like a court translator, but the court translator is basically translating for the court and not really for the people who are coming to court. So you really have to have your own power of attorney. Now, this man gave me power of attorney to talk my shit the way I know how to talk my shit to these stank ass motherfuckers. Yes, and I said that, and I meant that what I said. Now, I go in. He says, "Okay, I'm gonna hire you to be my power of attorney." Power of attorney is a person who goes into the courtroom, talks shit to the judge, and set them motherfuckers straight because they don't know exactly what to say. You know, you when you get into court, you know, you're kind of agitated, you're nervous, you don't know how you're supposed to portray this. So what you do is you go and get a person that's the power of attorney, you get it signed and notarized, because when you step in front of that judge and the judge says, "Who the hell are you?" and you be like, "I'm the power of attorney for Joe Smoke," and then she'll be like, "You can't talk for that person unless you're the attorney." No, bitch. I can talk for him. And here's how. Cha-ching. You show them the paperwork. You say, "Hey, he gave me the power of attorney to talk for him because he doesn't know how to talk for himself. He's going to have an attorney that's going to try the case. That's a whole different type of attorney. But when it comes to talking to you directly, you got to deal with me. And I'm going to tell you something. Them courts don't fucking around with Linda. Because when I say none fucking around, I ain't fucking around. And I'm going to tell you something. I'll come in there with my own can of Vaseline for them to, you need some Vaseline, boo? You need some Vaseline? Because somebody getting fucked up in here, and it sure the fuck ain't me. Now, after I get up in front and represent Mr. John Doe, I'm gonna say to the judge or whatever I need to say, and explain to them this is the reason why we're not going John Doe guilty. This, and then she's gonna say, "Well, it's the law." And here, this is my favorite, boy. I get jiggy when they say that shit to me about it's the law. Okay, so when she says it's the law, I'm going to say, Miss Judge or Mr. Judge, a little bit more specific on what law are you referring to? You say it real, kill them with kindness. You're killing them with kindness. Say, what law are you referring to? And they're going to say, well, the law. That's all I need to say, damn it. I'm the judge. It's just the law. Okay, well, Judge, see, this is the reason why Mr. So-and-so has brought me in on his behalf, because he's unsure as to what laws you guys are using. Isn't it very common, Mr. or Mrs. Judge, that you guys like to do what they call a bait? And then they're going to look at me and be like, get this bitch out of my courtroom. And don't she ever come back. And then they're going to look at Mr. So-and-so and say, your case is dismissed. Because I can't do. Let me tell you something. This is what I learned long time ago. You don't invite. Okay. You don't do that. Now, I had this old client. I'm going to tell you about my old client. And he's a house nigga. And the reason why I say he's a house nigga, because he wanted me to come in and do what I do best with the courts. And then he gonna say, well, I'm gonna fire you in midstream. I don't want you talking to the judge. I don't want you. You're too direct, Linda. You're too transparent, Linda. You can't do that, Linda. So I said, Mr. John Doe, why the fuck did you bring me here if you didn't want me to be the pit bull that I know how to be with these motherfuckers? You want, so in other words, let me ask you this. You want me to kiss their ass so they'll be polite to you. Is that what you want me to do? So he said, well, yeah, because, government, they would never stick it to me. They would never do those types of things. Really? So they pulled him to the set. Mr. So-and-so, we don't think you want to have Miss Evans in court with you because she's gonna fuck it up for you. And so he got to thinking, right? He said, well, okay, well, I'll go ahead and fire her for her being my power of attorney. So I said, okay. Now, keep in mind, you ladies and gentlemen, I got the same man out of they took him in jail in November. He was out of jail April. No, I take that back. He was out of jail in April of 6 counts that very next year. Now, by the time they snatched his ass and took him to another state, he had to go through the whole charges all over again. So then I said, well, wait a minute. You mean to tell me you don't want me to represent you? I represented you in the state in this state, but now that they just snatched your ass in the middle of the night to take you to another state on the same bullshit, you mean to tell me you don't want me to help you? Are you a fool? So then he said, no. His ego. He didn't do no time with when I had his case. So he's gonna sit back and say, well, I'm gonna do this on my own. I'm gonna do this on my own accord, and I think I can do a better job than you because you're not kissing the white people's ass. Oh well, I'm not an ass kisser. You do you, player. Now, keep in mind, the last case that I ever done for a black man to try to save a black man, because his case was a murder case. This is a whole lot stronger than what Master Jay is going through. This guy had a murder case and he had 6 counts, talking about 42 years of being in prison. And I got it down to where they set his ass free from the first set. But when he got to the second, I don't think you need to have her on your team. I think, if you just follow us, Mr. So-and-so, we'll make it right for you. We'll work with you and we'll make sure that you don't spend no time. Guess what, folks? Mr. So-and-so, who didn't want me to help him with his damn case, is still sitting in jail from 2009. Now, so I said, okay, all right, you want to do it your way. See, I don't, see, ladies and gentlemen, I don't argue with nobody about nothing. If you don't want my help, I'm finna bounce because I got other things I could be doing. I tell you, I'm a pit bull when it comes to working with going up in front of these people. I'm not afraid of them. And I'm gonna tell you something. Do not try this at home. This is my disclaimer. If you don't have the power or the personality, the strong personality that I have, see, I got 30 years behind me. So don't go out there saying, well, Linda told me to do this. I ain't tell you to do a motherfucking thing. I told you what you needed to do in order to keep your ass from out of it. Okay? So if you don't have a strong personality, then I suggest you help somebody that has that strong personality that can pull it off for you. Because if you don't do it right, then you're going to wind up in more trouble than you started with. See, you got to call their bluff, but you got to also know what the hell you're talking about with calling their bluff. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm using this past client as an example because I want you guys to learn that I'm telling you and I'm showing you. Now, he decided so, she's an embarrassment. You don't really want her. Come on now. How's your problem? And they already don't want me in their courtroom as they carry you. He thought he was hurting my feelings. You weren't hurting my damn feelings. You just, I got other things to do. Now, by the time he sat up there, now I was continuously following his case without him knowing that I was following his case. And I told them, I says, well, he can give up the power of attorney and I can just go my way. So they were happy with that. They were happy with him giving up his power of attorney because they knew that the pit bull was gone now. Now the pit bull is out the way. So I said, okay, I'm following his case. The next thing that they did, he is listed as a slave. This is and I know some of you out there, somebody got somebody in jail that they know that ain't got no business being in jail. Well, I'm going to tell you what's going on behind the scenes of people being in jail. Let me tell you how they do. See, if you don't get that case thrown completely out within, I would say 6 months to a year, your ass is going on to what they call the prison stock market. There is a prison stock market. Yes, it's called the CUSPID.com. This is a prisoner stock market where our loved ones is listed as a commodity. What they do, and then I'm going to tell you how they break it up. Now, you got two types of stock markets. Okay, you got the prison stock market, and you got what they call the financial stock market. Now, the prison stock market is, like I said, it's under the CID. Now, in order for you to know whether your loved one is in prison and has been made a stock or a commodity, you have to join that organization. You have to pay a membership fee in order to find out if your loved one is part of that stock market or that prison. I want you to pay attention to this. Let's say when you go visit your loved one in jail, when you go visit your loved one, you see his name or her name, right? And then you see a set of numbers behind the name, right? It can be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't care, whatever. Okay. They have listed your loved ones as a slave on 2 stock markets. The first stock market is the one that I told you about. And the second stock market is the one that support prison stock markets. The ones that support prison stock markets is called Merrill Lynch, Payne Weber, and Walmart. Walmart supports prisoners, slaves. They support it. So the next time you go into a Walmart and you spend your money with Walmart, just think that that's because they use your loved one as a slave to support that store. Now, What else you guys needs to know? After you get on the stock market or your name, because they're going to split it up. They're going to split it up like I told you. It's going to take hell and get your ass out of that. It's going, you talking about needing some money to pay some attorneys to make that shit happen? Your ass, look, this is the reason why I try to tell people. I tell my black people, you got to nip this shit in the bud before it gets down to that point. Now, in reference to Grandmaster Jay, let me tell you what's going on behind the scenes with him. Now, if y'all all can recall, back in, what was that, earlier this year, where Breonna Taylor, they talked about how Breonna Taylor was murdered, right? Okay. Now, Breonna Taylor's case came up and they wound up paying her $12 million. Remember that? Okay. Now, first and foremost, they paid Breonna's family too much. Okay. They went over budget as far as what she was supposed to have been getting paid. Now, you're only supposed to pay for how many, okay, this is what you don't know that goes on behind the scenes as well. You're only supposed to pay for whatever officer executed this girl. The bullets, the person who's responsible for killing her would be the insurance policy that they would cash out in reference to that girl. Now, to my knowledge, and from what I've read from the newspaper, because I don't know these people from a can of paint, but I support their cause. It says on there that she got killed through, it was one officer's gun, if I'm not mistaken, but it was a multiple of shots that was made in reference to Breonna Taylor. Now, what they should was allow the family. Now, I don't know about you. I don't know about anybody that's listening in this evening or listening to me right now, but I'm going to tell you something. If that had been my child, then somebody who you care about, you can't bring Breonna Taylor back. But the thing is, they even talking about any money or any money. What they should have done was sat down and asked the family, what type of recourse would you like to have in reference to this case? Now, if it had been me, that motherfucker would have been on death row before nightfall. And they could have done that if they had filed what? An affidavit of his death. That's all they needed to do. Put an affidavit, because guess what? A judge, I don't care what level of government you are working with, they will not fight against and file affidavit. And the only way you can fight against an affidavit on file is by the power of the pen. Did I not preach this to you guys before? Y'all remember me telling y'all this before, that in order to fight government, it was going to take the power of the pen? Well, it's time for the power of the pen all day. And see, like I said, if that had been my child, you couldn't, it wouldn't have went no further. No, dude, you going on death row when I get done with your motherfucking ass. You're not gonna sit up and kill my baby. You're gonna kill my baby, and I'm supposed to just say, "Oh, give me some money so that will pacify me." No, that ain't gonna work at all. That ain't gonna work at all. So, to tell you the truth, Breonna's family need to go get that man on death row. That's what they need to do, and stop playing with it. Put that paperwork in. These people know that you're not playing games no more. Like Grandmaster Jay said, it ain't time. I can borrow my Vaseline. I got it right here. I keeps this. This is a lifesaver. Now, Also, getting back, once you get, like I was telling you before, once you get on the stock market of the prison system, that's one hard thing to try to get it back into reverse. You're going to have to spend some real money to get it back, to go in a reverse direction. So the best thing for you not to get on the stock market. So what they're trying to do with Grandmaster Jay behind the scenes, they want Grandmaster Jay to take up the bill for the entire state of Kentucky because they overspent with Brianna. This is what they want to do. They want to put him into the system, break up the payments over to the prison stock market, where he would, after he goes through the system, now they are justifiable to call him a slave. He's no longer a person. He's a commodity. So they want to break up the payments over 20 years. They done already made the deal with Payne and Weber and Merrill Lynch and all of those rich motherfuckers who sit behind these people that you don't see, but you know that they're there. So he's going to go on the stock market if he gets through that system. So I told him, I said, dude, Jay, we love you, bro. We love you, bro. But what you're going to have to do, you're going to have to cut it off before it gets started. Because we don't want to have to sit up here and go through these unnecessary changes when you don't have to go there. All you got to do, get that paperwork evaluated. Get your paperwork evaluated so you'll know what they're charging you with. Second of all, get you a power of attorney, somebody where you don't have to go to court. You don't have to go to court because your voice, that power of attorney. Get your paperwork in to tell them that you are refusing to have a trial. Don't say why, can't say when, just say have that shit filed. Now, for all you people who don't know the duties of the United States Marshal, a lot of people ask me, well, what is the United States Marshal? The United States Marshal is the governmental police department. The United States Marshal have the authority to collect each and every person in government and put their ass behind bars at the request of us, the people, by the power of the pen. And you would have to serve that affidavit, their office, the court's office, and the police office. Okay? If, like, I heard somebody say something about somebody named Higgins. I don't know who Higgins is with Kentucky, but if you feel that there needs to be charges brought against Higgins, then you have to put the paperwork in order, get your paperwork notarized, and then send it off by certified mail. Stamp certified mail to the United States Marshal, and they would have to get up off their ass, do an investigation, and start the process of pulling their ass in to be in prison. Mm-hmm. That's how that works. Now, I'm going to show y'all something. In reference to, I told you I'm working on behalf of Grandmaster Jay. He knows I'm on his team. I'm on his side. What I have already done, okay? This is what I've already done. I don't know if you guys can see the paperwork up here, but this is me blocking him from ever going to trial. That's the first step. This is my paper. I'm going to show y'all. My shit is notarized and stamped. That passes for the courts. I told you I'm not fucking around. Now, to answer the young man's question about how can we help Grandmaster Jay if you don't have any money, you can file your own personal affidavit to block the trial from ever happening, and you can also join forces with me for the next step that I'm about to take. Now, let me tell you, and if you want the address of where you can send it to, just go to my email. If you send me an email, I'll send you the address where you need to send your paperwork and where it needs to be filed on behalf of Grandmaster Jay. Okay? We have to stop this matter before they get him into the system and make him a slave of their system and make money off this man's head. Because that's where it's going to go if we don't step up and do that now. We got to do that now. So by the time February comes along, they're going to have to make a conscious decision as to what they're going to do with the case and not Master Jay. You feel me? Now, with that being said, I got to look over my notes real quick so I make sure that I'm on point. And I done told y'all everything. I told you that. Yes, I told you that. I told you about the marshal. Oh, the charges. I didn't tell you about the charges. Okay, now, with my paperwork that I have filed, this is about 12 pages that I filed on behalf of Grandmaster Jay when I found out that they had took him into custody. I did that immediately, and I contacted Master Jay, and I told him what I was doing. Now, if he had a problem with whatever I was doing, he would have stood up by now and said, no, I don't want you to do that for me. But I think he's okay with me working with him and helping him to solve this problem. Now, this is what I found out after I contacted my group of attorneys, okay? How this is going to play itself out. Those men who made the false charges against Grandmaster Jay, I filed it with the United States Marshal to come collect them if they decide not to drop these charges. If they decide not to drop the charges, I'm going to read off to you the new charges that is going to be applied to the Kentucky Police Department and the FBI. Let me pull that up really, really quick, y'all. Okay. And this was noted. It states, in the event that Grandmaster Jay, also known as John Fitzgerald Johnson, is his name, if the charges is not completely dropped, those officers is being faced with the following charges, new list of charges. You will be faced with grand larceny, grand theft, because his property was taken, his guns was taken away from him. You will be charged with kidnapping of his personal body. You will be charged with placing a slave device to be used as a commercial piece. You will be charged with jeopardizing Grandmaster Jay's safety and his life. You will be charged with assault and battery by, again, that device that they put on his ankle. That needs to be charged under assault and battery. These officers is looking at the charges of 13 counts of police abuse to police authority and 13 additional accounts for misconduct and another 13 additional count for hate and conspiracy against a black man. That's under the form of discrimination. You will also be charged with extortion as well as tyranny. Now, it comes to the conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, that is a total of 67 counts that can be charged against the officers that put that device on his leg or his foot. And now they have a choice at this point. They can either drop this shit and go on about their merry bit and don't pull this man for nothing else. And and my advice to Jay, when we get his ass out of this bullshit, don't go back to Kentucky. I don't give a damn. Okay? Do not take your pretty, fine black ass to Kentucky. Okay? Because I told him, you take your ass back to Kentucky after we get your ass up out of this bullshit. Me and you gonna fight. Okay? We gonna fight. Me and you gonna go. We gonna go toe to toe, Broham. If you take your black ass back to Kentucky after we get this shit finalized. Okay, because you already know. You already know that those people are prejudiced. Okay, you already know what they are. Anytime that they will sit up and accuse you and falsify this stuff. Now you got something, Broham. You got 67 charges that can be brought against those officers that put their hands on you. And what did I say to you people before? It's called the power of the pen. Now they're getting ready. They're gonna have to sit their ass down come 21. They're gonna have to say something, because what recourse do they have? The one lady said, "Oh, I'm so worried about Grandmaster Jay." No, baby, Grandmaster Jay is gonna be fine when I get through with it. Okay, I told you I'm a pit bull that you don't want to invite to an arena. Okay, I got everything, the shit in order. Grandmaster Jay is gonna be fine, but like I said, you guys need to support him. You need to, because the legal team that I got for him, these brothers ain't no joke. These brothers is no joke. And you talk about representing not fucking around. These brothers ain't fucking around. Now, because when we get done with this, if I have to step up there in Kentucky, I'm coming with my peeps. Okay? I'm coming with my peeps. And then my peeps will meet Jay's peep, and we'll talk about all this other stuff at a later time. But I'm saying how you can help him at this date and time. Now, for the ones who send an affidavit on behalf of Jay not to have okay, and what they will have to do is make that a part of Jay's Master Jay's final record. And if they do decide what's going to happen, they're going to be shown. They're going to be shown. If that's how you want to support him and you don't have the money to do it, that's the other way that you can do it. Okay? That's the other way that you can do it. You email me at atorclass101@gmail.com. I will give you all of the addresses where you can David on behalf of Grandmaster Jay. Okay? You can still show your support if you don't have any money, because like I said, I'm bringing my crew. I'm putting my crew together, and you talking about some badasses. Kentucky don't know shit when I step with these boys, and we're not carrying no guns. We're carrying that power of that pen. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have somebody that is already in the court system and you want some help with that on finding out whether they're on the stock market, I can also share that information with you as well. Also, I forgot to mention this off of my. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. It was also told to me that there was a gun club. Wait a minute. If I'm reading this correctly. Okay, the gun club. I heard that the police, the Kentucky Police Department took the guns from a gun club. Oh, okay. Okay. That's what that is. Okay. Well, if you are any members of the NFAC, that's gotta roll off the tongue. Okay, if you are a member of the NFAC and your guns were taken away from you, you can file charges as well. You got to do the same procedure. I will give you the address and the phone number and the form in getting your guns back, because that's considered grand larceny. But before you do that, you're going to have to know the names of the officers that took your property. Find out what was the name of the officer that took your guns, took your property, and then it'll be a lot smoother to make the transition of getting your guns and your property back. We're going to also do that. I'm also making that happen for Grandmaster Jay as well. that's going to be a part of all the final paperwork that goes in reference to that. As a matter of fact, uh, this I'm gonna contact that detention center to find out what are their next recourse, because we don't even, Grandmaster Jay does not want a trial at all. He doesn't want one, because what they're trying to do is make him responsible for the overpayment that they made to Breonna Taylor's family. And it doesn't make any sense for Grandmaster Jay to be in prison for 20 years so the stock market could take him and chop up him. And what I mean by chop him up, I'm not talking about chopping him up physically. I'm talking about taking him and chopping up the money that they make behind his name and putting him a part of the prison stock market. That's what I'm referring to, folks. So please don't misquote what I said. Okay. That is pretty much, let me make sure, because do anybody else have any more questions for me? I was going to do a couple of jokes in reference to Grandmaster Jay, but I'm not really in the mood for that right now. I will put that on another show or another video, because my mood, I'm really trying to focus on making sure that this man gets all of his paperwork and all of the necessities that he needs in order to squash this from the gate. Is there anybody that has any more questions that I can answer before I get out of here? I don't see anybody on the chat. I don't see any questions on the chat. So at least the YouTube chat. And then, well, if you got other questions that's coming in from my email address, then I will have to answer that on another go round. But that's all in a nutshell, folks. I told you about the prison system. I told you how that works. I told you that it's going to be a bait and switch. If Grandmaster Jay don't step up and say that he refuses to have a trial, because the laws does not apply to him. The United States Constitution does not apply to human beings, folks. It only applies if you are a worker of the governmental system. That's who that applies to. So, with that being said, I don't have anything else that I need to add, at least according to my, let me make sure, according to my list. Yeah. Oh, when you do your affidavits, oh, let me make that clear too. When you do your affidavits, make sure that it's notarized. You have to get it notarized, and it has to be done by a notary person who can say that you are a real human being, and take it from that point on. So the whole goal is to squash both charges. We're gonna use one bow, and we're gonna aim and take care of both problems, and not let this fester any further. And by the time February comes around, what they should be telling us is an answer that they're planning on dismissing this, because he has that option. Grandmaster Jay has that option of not taking this to any court. He could, if he filed his paperwork in due time, make sure that they get it, because if you wait and do it the last minute, okay, let's say for instance, you don't do it right now and you do it in February, what's going to happen is they're going to prolong it, and you need to get your answer in right now. I kid you not. You need to get that in right now. Get you an affidavit of refusal to have a trial. It's called an AIB. I'm going to keep repeating it so you guys can write it down or put it in your notebook or whatever it is that you need to do. And make sure to contact me if you need some help. I will help you out. If you got a loved one that's in prison that you know that they're not supposed to be in prison, I could probably pull some strings to find out what's going on if they're on the stock market, because I did it for a past client. And like I said, that man, he wants to sit in prison for whatever reason, which I don't understand. I'm like, you don't mind being a slave? You don't mind being a slave to the white government? Okay, well, do you? That's all I can say. Do you? Um, we might can check into that because we do have a lot of black men that is incarcerated for the wrong reason. Pull up a case evaluator to look over the paperwork to tell you if there is a possible loophole that could get them out of help to bring them out of the situation. But I can tell you, if they're already on the stock market, it's a oh God, y'all, it's a process. It's a process to flip it back and bring it back to its original state. So I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I appreciate all of y'all bringing. Please go ahead and subscribe to the channel. If you think that I have educated you this evening, please give me a thumbs up. Give me a thumbs up. Let me know how I'm doing because I'm only human. I make mistakes too, and I'm all for supporting and loving my black people. If you like it, tell me about it. If you don't like it, you can tell. My skin is tough. My skin is tough. If you need any help, I'm here for you. I'm here for all people. I'm not just here for black people, even though black people are my priority. They're my priority now because that's what I'm being faced with. But if there's anybody that needs some answers or some questions, comments, or concerns, I'm here. So with that being said, I'm going to say Happy New Year to everybody. I want you guys to go out there and be safe. Look up in the sky to make sure that there are not no planes spraying no COVID-19 on you. And just stay away from all the riffraff and the craziness. And know that we're going to work extremely hard behind the scenes on making sure that Grandmaster Jay does not have to do 20 years on some trumped up charges. And we're going to bring that to the forefront. As long as Grandmaster Jay has me as his pit bull, he going to be all right. Yes. So I bid you all peace, love, and I'm just going to say, you know how I do. I got to say, salute you. And that goes to all of the NFAC, the members, your family. I love you. I salute you. And I say, deuces, peace. Peace out, y'all.